instructors for this particular capstone. Special thanks to Chris Bachman, who's not here today, because he's going to be the engine for organizing all the details behind this capstone. So thank you to him in particular. We have passed around evaluation forms, and you're supposed to fill out one for each capstone. So for each presentation, you fill out that. If you're uncomfortable with this sort of 20th century technology of writing on paper, we sent out an email to everyone, so you can now go on your phones and fill out the form there, and maybe you feel more comfortable doing the evaluation that way. Anyway, so now we're going to proceed. We're going to go first through the green roofs, and the next one's going to be the Plan 2015, isn't it? And the last one will be the Wildlife Elikia project. Like connection, I would like to start introducing the two capstone instructors for the expanding green roofs on university campuses. A guide, that's Ben Lanner. He is a head farmer and president of Brooklyn Ranch. He's also the co-founder of Eagle Street's Rooftop Farms, professionally is an industrial engineer. And then Guan Shantz, she is a Bushwick Food Cooperative, and she leads Brooklyn Ranch Design. Special hurrah and thank you to those two. I don't know how you plan to do it, if all of you are going to come up, or just a few presenters, but the floor is yours. I want to make sure every student's name is being mentioned, though, before we do it. All right. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is our senior capstone, Expanding Green Roofs on University Campuses, a student's guide.
And this is a picture of all the members of our team. They're all sitting out there in the audience. There's Cindy, Rachel, Tiffany, Heather, Nate, Royal, Justin, and Gio. And all of us together, after months of hard labor, we put together a green roof guide by the students, for the students. And for our contribution to a more sustainable Earth, we want to help students across the country break down the hurdles of creating green roofs and empower their schools to make an investment in infrastructure in our cities. Combined with passion, field experience, and devotion, and many long hours of being together, we bring to you our guide. A guide designed to encourage students to get involved and influence environmental change. A guide designed to celebrate green roofs. Through it all, we got to speak to industry professionals, visit some awesome green roofs, and network with students around the nation. So it's safe to say we learned a whole lot. So get ready, because we're about to walk through the process of how our green roof guide was created.
So green roofs represent a much needed change for increased green space in urban areas. We can find a lot of them in Europe, but there's a huge lack of them in the US. Germany is installing 100 million square feet of green roof space per year, but North America is installing only 20 million green roof space of square foot per year. This is 1/5 of the rate per year, and Germany's a lot smaller than us, so we gotta work on that. As of 2013, 81% of the population lives in urban areas, and green roofs help to bridge the gap between human and nature, and it also creates opportunities to integrate green spaces in areas with growing populations. The proliferation of green roofs on school campuses throughout the US will improve overall life, air and water quality, and promote biodiversity. It also acts as a learning experience for students. But the most important thing is that it'll really make urban areas more livable.
Before going any further, what exactly is a green roof? A green roof is basically, by definition, a roof of a building that's either partially or completely covered by vegetation and a growing medium, along with other layers that help to protect the roof and also facilitate drainage.
Breaking down your green roofs even further, there's two types. You have your intensive and your extensive. For your extensive green roof, it's going to be a lot more lightweight as a result of having shallow soil. They're developed mainly for ecological and environmental benefits such as retention of storm water. And they've had plant mixes with shallow roots that could withstand fluctuation in temperature, and they typically have hardier plants. On the other hand, you have your intensive green roof, and these have a deeper soil, and they can be used for growing vegetables and more diverse types of plantings. They typically call for more maintenance and irrigation. They're much heavier with a holding capacity of around 150 pounds per square foot. And this is going to mean that the roof has to be a lot more structurally sound to accommodate all these features. In terms of maintenance, all your green roofs are going to require maintenance, both of these. Maintenance is going to range anywhere from, I would say, including weeding, supplemental irrigation during the dry spells, and regular drain inspections. So when putting up your green roof and choosing the best one for your building, you need to consider the use and keep in mind. You got to ask yourself, do you want to grow vegetables on it? Are you going to want to use it as a hangout? Are you going to have regular access to it? Who's really going to be accessing this roof? You have to consider the climate. Definitely anticipate the roof strength, that's important. And you want to anticipate other conditions such as sunlight, wind, and ultimately the plant selections.
On top of the actual roof, you have 5 basic components that make up your average green roof. We won't go into details of it here, but if you're interested, you can look it up online. And so first you have the roof itself, and then you have the root barrier layer, the drainage layer, the filter fabric, and then the growing medium, which differs between intensive and extensive roofs. And lastly, you have the vegetation on the plants.
So why do we want to expand green roofs on university campuses? If we haven't already convinced you, green roofs provide a host of benefits, which we're going to explain to you now.
Arguably one of the most important private benefits of having a green roof is the large marketability gain that comes with installing a green roof because they're just so beautiful. Green roofs have been proven to improve business sales, increase efficiency, and also increase property value, and also decrease employee and tenant turnovers. And much of these benefits can be attributed to the PR value of a roof. And all in all, a green roof is an asset to the building and the city that it's in.
Green roofs have a ton of environmental benefits. Just to name a few, we have the use of recycled materials in the growing medium and in the green roof system itself. It's going to improve the stormwater management. Now the roof will act as a sponge during excessive rainfall, and in the summer months it's going to retain the precipitation between 20 and 40% of the precipitation, and in the winter 20 to 40% of the precipitation. Now in New York City in particular, this factor is huge because we do have a problem with our sewage. We tend to have a lot of sewage overflow, and so any help with the stormwater runoff will really help us out. So a lot of times if you notice during hard rainfall, if you look at the sewers, it's overflowing. That's not only fresh water, that's a ton of that sewage and all that dirty water coming back up. Yeah, it does tend to smell a lot, so that adds to all that air that we breathe in every day, all those funky smells. So definitely a green roof will help tremendously by acting as a natural mitigator and a filter for the stormwater runoff. It's also going to reduce the urban heat island effect and definitely improve our air quality, which is just always a win for all of us.
Green roofs can also provide public space. They can act as community gardens, potential commercial space, or recreational space. And it's been proven that visual and environmental diversity can improve community and psychological well-being. And green roofs also add green space in areas where there is more pavement than planted area. And this is important because New York City is 70% paved, and green roofs can help break up the concrete that we live in.
Green roofs also improve energy efficiency by decreasing greenhouse gas emissions because they're able to mitigate the temperature flux of buildings that they're on.
And as cities continue to grow, green roofs make cities more livable because they help improve an area's biodiversity. They're capable of sustaining a large variety of plants and invertebrates, and they also provide a habitat for various bird species. And they're especially important for migratory species, such as the monarch butterfly, since they act as necessary stopover sites.
Green roofs also provide an educational opportunity for students to learn about sustainability, biology, construction, and design. The picture on the left is a picture of 2 students working on their green roof in Princeton, and the other side is a picture of t-shirts being dyed, solar dyed actually, using dye made from FIT's Green Roof Dye Garden. And for those of you that don't know, a dye garden is basically just a garden that grows plants that have natural dyeing properties. And even if your green roof isn't located in the city and already has a lot of green space, the educational value of building a green roof is well worth the cost of construction.
Now, green roofs are very versatile and can be used for varying scenarios. The functions can be used for environmental benefits, for farming and garden needs, to foster biodiversity, or as a park or a host of recreational activities.
If you're using your green roof just for the environmental benefits, then this kind of basic green roof provides environmental benefits and economic benefits. Ruby went over some of the environmental benefits, but here's some more. They're able to provide thermal and audio insulation, make the roof fire retardant, and prolong the life of the roofing membrane by 2 to 3 times because it's able to stop the UV light from the sun from reaching the roof. And this kind of roof becomes cheap and needs little maintenance. It's an ideal type if the university doesn't allow student access to the roof. And this is actually a picture of the Javits Center green roof, which some of our class got to visit this fall. And it was really great to see in person because it's the largest green roof in North America. It's 229,000 square feet and it was built in 2013. And it's actually, this picture you can really see or get a sense of how big the roof was actually is compared to the roof from the car. But this roof is actually able to prevent 6.8 million gallons of stormwater runoff annually.
If you're planning on using your green roof as a farm or garden, it's definitely going to require an intensive green roof system, meaning that there's a much thicker soil layer, as the plant's growing will have higher nutritional needs and grow deeper, fuller roots. It does require significantly more root strength than you have for your typical extensive roof system. It will require a more developed and sophisticated irrigation system with constant maintenance for planting, weeding, and harvesting vegetables. As you see, this gentleman is taking care of that. Also, as a farm or garden, it will allow for a lot of community interaction. As you see there, the baby, even everybody likes to get involved in green roofs.
As we mentioned before, green roofs can increase habitat space for local species and promote biodiversity.